Well, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. I have a sense that everyone knows what a special night this is when we welcome a new rabbi into our community. And I have to say that I was thinking about him and our community and this very particular Shabbat of Chukat, the Torah portion that literally means law. I was thinking about all of this earlier today when I saw one of the cutest sights that I've seen in a long time. And that is that I was driving here and there was this little cutie on the back of a bike. His father, I think his father, was on the front of the bike. And then this little kid who must have been maybe 2 years old was sitting in a seat behind his father and just completely napping. Like his head was just completely slumped over. And I thought, do you remember how nice that would feel to be on the back of a bike and somebody else driving, you just feeling the breeze and feeling safe enough that you could just nap? Yeah. And I was thinking that I think in the very best, that's what Shabbat could feel like. And I was thinking about this as this little boy woke up and just like looked around as though, yeah, you know what, somebody else is in charge. I get to wake up from my nap and just hang out. And I have to say that this is a little bit of what I think this week's Torah portion, at least the beginning of it, is trying to tell us, where it's saying, you know what, we've got this really strange law of the red heifer, where actually you just have to follow this thing where you sacrifice this animal, and then you get the ashes, you collect them, you put them into water, and then whenever there's something where somebody needs to be purified, just like magic, you can sprinkle it on and life is better. And I think it would be so nice if we lived in a world like the world that this little boy woke up to, where somebody else is in charge and all you need to do is just trust in it and things will be fine. Or that we live in this world where we could say, you know what, there could be this very strange law that we don't need to understand at all. We just follow the recipe and everything is good. And I think especially in our time that is so complicated and hard right now, I just want to be able to sit on the back of a bike, be able to take a nap and wake up and feel like, you know what, everything is fine, somebody's really in charge. But I think that what we have to wrestle with these days is that actually we all need to be awake. We need to be the people who are riding this bike, but we need to do so with clear direction. So we don't need a rabbi to tell us exactly what to do. We need a rabbi who has clear moral vision, who has clear direction for how it is that we can all learn how to ride a bike and to be awake in this world and to realize that we are safe and that life can be good, but it requires that we work together. So Shabbat is our time off. Our time of just being able to appreciate, take a break, maybe get a little bit of rest, maybe take a nap, maybe not on the back of a bike, but take a nap. Here, probably while I'm speaking. And for the rest of our time, and actually in the direction that we get on Shabbat from this bima, we want to have great rabbis, great clergy who give us special direction. And that's why we are all so excited that tonight on this Shabbat, we are welcoming Rabbi Max Antman, who shows us so well how to do this, who will be with us and show us direction, allow us to relax a little bit at times, and at times feel a little uncomfortable about this world. But most of all, he'll always remind us that we are cherished in this community, and together we can make a difference in this world. So Rabbi Max Antman, what a joy that you are here with us. We are grateful. And I'm grateful that you have so much family with you tonight. You also have a lot of Temple Sholem family with you tonight, those who are not on vacation right now. Anyone who's in Chicago wants to be able to be with you. We are so grateful that you are our rabbi. And tonight we are not only celebrating this great simcha of inviting a new rabbi into our community, but we're about to celebrate the wedding of someone who I officiated at their bat mitzvah. Yes, the time has come. I love the passage of time in this way. From one simcha to another simcha with the Bellick family. I'm always grateful for that. So I want to invite all of you, that very special row right here, to please come to the bima to kindle the light of Shabbat. We're on page 120. Sarah and Jordan are getting married next Saturday evening. And so we're so excited to get to celebrate with their families. Come on up here and just right over here. It's all I can do not to hug you all as you go past, but you know, we've got a service to do, so I'll hug you on the way back. Oh my God, so good to see you. Shabbat Shalom. Again, page 120, we find the blessing for the kindling of light for Shabbat. So Sarah and Jordan, I'll invite you to stay up here, everyone else. But Rob, please take oh. So you can come right here so we can have the opportunity, like here, but like we'll look at each other. Because I want to say to the two of you, what an absolute joy it is to know that you have found each other and you truly have found your beshert. I think it's so crazy that two people have found someone who is just exactly right for them. Meaning this, you are two people who, like no one else, cherishes family. You are two people like no one else understands really what our heritage means to us and actually does something about our future. Like no one else, you guys are friends to each other's friends and you're friends to each other, and it's beautiful. And I want to say that we have this beautiful tradition of blessing you with this threefold benediction. And what is it that we're doing there? We're saying this. Like, may you always protect what you have. It is unique and beautiful, and not everyone has this opportunity, so protect it with everything that you have. And realize what a blessing it is. Always know to cherish this great love and also this great like. You guys really like each other. And also, this is about light. The blessing is that, like, may you always feel the radiance of this light that you have, because every day, which you already have known, doesn't feel like a big ray of light when you look at your beloved. So you have to sometimes work to find that light and to keep bringing it out in each other. You're such a joy. And so may you always be able to find that spark and then just be able to flourish in it. And This is also a blessing about lifting, about always realizing that what you have to keep fanning this flame in really wonderful ways. Not just when you're out and doing something amazing and traveling like you did when you met, but also the simple things like being at home with one another. Those are the times to lift each other, even if it means reading one more email you don't want to have to proof. And even if it means this way of being able to say, okay, so we might have different timing, and yet we love to be with each other. So may you always feel blessed, protected, cherished, lit from the inside, and lifted both from each other and from all those in our community. We invite now our rabbis to join us here. I mean, you're getting to be blessed by both Rabbi Gilman and Rabbi Antman, and our wonderful Rabbi Aviva Katzman.
Old Cantor.
Cantor.
A promotion.
It's a demotion,
Emerita.
you know this. Cantor Emerita.
And old.
And not old, well, okay.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is invite, we've left this nice little place for these two beautiful people to see your hands lifted and blessing them, so that way God's light can shine upon them and protect them, bless them, light them, and lift them.
May God bless you and keep you.
May God's light shine upon you. May God be gracious to you.
May you always feel lifted by a divine presence, by your beautiful love, and may that bring you peace. And we all say, Amen. Mazel tov!
Siman tov,
Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, yehelanu, 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 u'vechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, u'vechol Yisrael.
With a very sweet bima now, we invite Rabbi Antman's family to join him as they lead us in the Kiddush. Yes, all the little cuties who are here, those little ones, and there's lots of big cuties here too. If you wanted to get a little candy, you can for sure feel free. I'll say all the way through the Kiddush, feel free to come, gather it up. You could take a cue from what the Conover boys used to do. You take your shirt out just a little bit, you put the candy in, it is a perfect pocket, yeah. No, you take it out like this. Now put it on top. Can I show you? So now take your shirt down here. Now hold it like this. Oh, you can fill that whole thing. Wow. Oh my gosh. Amazing to see all these cuties. Oh yeah, that's the problem. You gotta go back and do, yep, exactly, you've got it. Yeah, I'll have to get these Conover boys back here for some more Shabbats so that they can show the younger generation how it's done. So we'll invite now Rabbi Antman, if you want to come just up here. The Kiddush cup is right there waiting for you. And we'll invite your parents. I like that everybody was like, you know what, we don't need to wait to be called. Just come on up here, join him here. So Mark Antman and Wendy Yano, oh my gosh, we love them. They are Rabbi Antman's parents. We also have Aunt Jerry and Aunt Faye, Uncle Shell, and Cousin Lauren. Well, it's wonderful, and I know that you're a close family. That's why we have one Kiddush cup for you all to share.
Amazing. We love to share.
Page 123, in body, in spirit, we rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav veratzavanu, veshabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu, zikaron lemaaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu vaharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, yahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. We love Rabbi Antman. Please be seated.
It's so hot up here.
We turn now to page 138 as we welcome in God's presence as the Sabbath bride. We sing Lecha Dodi. Tonight we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to the 9th and final verse, we turn toward our entrances of our homes and of our sanctuary, and some of us even bow as we welcome in that presence.
La 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 lecha dodi, la 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 likrat kala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat likavela, shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, ish miyad el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemu tiferet v'nitila. La 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 lecha dodi, la 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 likrat kala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat likavela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mikor habracha, nerosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava tefila. La 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 lecha dodi, la 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 likrat kala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat likavela, עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לי לי לי, לה 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 לחדודי, לה 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 לקראת בה, לה 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 פני שבת, נקרא בלה.
Page 146, the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai 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 lai.
We turn the page. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, u'bitbuna meshane itim, machalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmorotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. ומעביר יום ובין לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. O God, just as you have shown us day from night, showing us light even in the darkness, we find your loving presence through words of Torah, through community, through light. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152, Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto leolam, leolam va'ed.
If you're standing, please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. I'm going to turn to page 158, praying the words that our ancestors sang at the shores of the sea. As we turn the page, we find Judaism's nightly prayer, Judaism's prayer that asks God to take care of us in the evening, care for us as we sleep, waking up to life renewed. On page 160, we pray those words of Hashkivenu. I think we do from the top and then jump to Ushmor, right?
I think you're right. You're such a rabbi.
I think so as well.
You are good.
So we go from the top and then we make a jump to the little indent towards the bottom there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad he reminded me. I might
No,
not have started in the right place.
I was reminding me.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu shomreinu lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu shomreinu lechayim.
All right, we promised them incorrectly. So, Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu lechaim ul shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. We
But
got
I
it.
also led you astray.
Yeah, between the two of us, we got this. All right. We're going to turn to page 164. And I heard a old story that reminded me of the words actually at the top of page 165 there. That say, pray as if everything depended on God, act as if everything depended on you. And the gist of this story is there's a rabbi. He is retired. He has spent his whole life serving the Jewish people. He has been an upstanding, moral person his whole life. He has been humble his whole life. And as he's a little bit older, he's like, I kind of want, for once in my life, some nice things. I want to travel the world. I want a nice car. I want a nice house. So he prays to God, God, please let me win the lottery. And the next day, God, please let me win the lottery. The next day, week after week, month after month, he prays to God, God, please let me win the lottery. A year goes by, and he's starting to get upset, and on that 1-year anniversary, he's, God, please let me win the lottery. And all of a sudden, a voice comes down from heaven saying, you know, it would help if you bought a lottery ticket. It's a reminder that we do this work in partnership with God. We do this work in healing our world, in making our world a better, safer, more peaceful place with God in partnership. And as we take those steps into the Amidah, we think about that partnership we've had for millennia. We rise on page 164, continuing on the even pages.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הקדוש. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Take a moment of silent prayer, meditation, each of us in our own way. Might be the words on the page or the words in our heart. When you feel ready, I invite you to be seated.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
It's sometimes hard when there's so much brokenness in our world to remember those who are living through brokenness each and every day. Those friends, those family, those loved ones of ours who need us to say, hey, how are you doing? Just like God coming down, once you buy a lottery ticket, we need to do that work of healing in partnership with God. And one of the ways that we ask God to be our partner in healing is with the words of Misha Berach, which will turn ahead to page 371 for those. But if there are any names that you're thinking of, those who you are feeling are in need of that blessing of healing, I invite you to share their names aloud as we'll see names from some of our online congregation on the screens as well. Again, in the middle of page 371, our prayer for healing. It has been 297 days since October 7th. And what has become custom here at Temple Sholem is that not only do we mark the number of days, but we lift up the memory of one of the hostages each and every week. We know there are still so many hostages in this difficult war. Not only are we thinking about the Israeli hostages being held somewhere in Gaza, but we also think about those innocent Gazans who are held hostage by this difficult war, living in such difficult times. And so we think about a particular person, Israeli, who is being held hostage. And I want to introduce you to Naama. She was born in Israel and raised in India, where she was educated in an American school. She graduated with a diplomacy major in high school, raised on values of tolerance, acceptance, equality, freedom, social justice. As a young girl, Naama actually participated in the Hands of Peace delegation, which brings young Americans, Israelis, and Palestinians together, nurturing young leaders to promote values of mutual understanding and the pursuit of peace. She spent her time volunteering in a kindergarten for children of foreign workers and asylum seekers. As her mother recalls, on October 7th, Naama had been sleeping on kibbutz Nahal Oz and was awakened by the chaotic sound of a missile barrage. At 7 a.m., she sent her mother a WhatsApp message. "We are in the safe room, but I've never heard anything like this." Her mother goes on to say, "That was the last time I heard from her." Her mother was lucky enough, in a difficult way, to see a video of her daughter in Gaza in the days following October 7th. She was bloodied and bruised, but she was alive. On this past June 22nd, 2024, thousands of Israelis showed up in Tel Aviv at Hostages Square to mark Naama's 20th birthday and, of course, demand her release. In thinking about all of those who are held hostage by this terrible war, we pray the words of Matir Asurim. It says, "Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Matir Asurim." Praise be our God, ruler of the universe, who frees the captives.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Matir Asurim
Shabbat Shalom. You thought you were going to get a rabbi who wasn't going to spend the whole service fiddling with their talit, but that is not the case. In my final year at UIUC in Champaign, I had some extra credits to fill. So I decided to enroll in a course outside my major that seemed thought-provoking. It was called Conservative Liberal Dialogue, which even at that time seemed a bit oxymoronic. Every week we would explore a topic of intense political division: the role of government, affirmative action, social and cultural identity, abortion, guns. And during class, the professor would break us into small discussion groups of mixed ideological perspectives. I remember feeling puzzled by the guidelines for those small groups. We couldn't rebut or react to anyone's assessment or question their understanding. The goal wasn't to debate or persuade, but rather to sit with discomfort, both our own and others, to listen openly, ask for clarity, and maybe, over time, build thoughtful and healing community across lines of difference. But I must tell you that coming from a rowdy, opinionated Chicagoland Jewish family made this a difficult task for me. Some of them are here today. I was raised to be a change maker, a doer. I wanted to use my political acumen to foster meaningful progress in our world, and I wanted to do it quickly. I don't think I'm unique in this way. North American society values productivity, upward mobility, being the first to the finish line. We are taught to use our words to change hearts and minds, and that we should push through challenging moments as quickly as possible. So, to intentionally sit in discomfort without even attempting to remedy it, to solve it, can feel excruciating. Perhaps that is why our prophet Moses, when given the unique opportunity in this week's Torah portion to embrace discomfort, does precisely the opposite. We rejoin the Israelites in Parshat Chukat toward the end of their 40-year journey in a location of the desert known as Zin. And it is there that the prophetess Miriam, who was crucial to their exodus from Egypt and survival in the wilderness, dies and is buried. We read that Miriam's death coincides with a loss of water in the community, and the people cry out in their exhaustion and grief to their leaders for support. They exclaim, "Velu gavanu bigva achinu lifnei Adonai." If we had only perished when the followers of Korach, those who revolted against Moses and Aaron's leadership in last week's parsha, perished. Velama ha'alitenu mimitzrayim lehavi otanu el hamakom hara hazeh. Why did you force us to leave Egypt and bring us to this evil place, a place with no grain, no figs, no vines, no pomegranates, a place where there is not even water for us to drink? Moses and Aaron, who themselves are grieving the loss of their sister, go before Adonai with this plea. And God tells Moses to assemble the community before a large rock and command it to bring forth water. Moses assembles the community, but before addressing the rock, he says to the people, "Shim'u na hamorim, listen, you rebels. Shall we procure water from this rock for you?" And without pausing for a response, he takes his rod and strikes the rock 2 times, causing water to spring forth. Following this scene, Adonai issues one of the harshest judgments in Torah, declaring that neither Moses nor Aaron will lead the Israelites into the promised land. Now, the rabbis offer several explanations for Moses' behavior and subsequent punishment from God. Some of them believe that in hitting the rock, rather than speaking to it, Moses defies God's specific instruction, thus calling into question his loyalty. Others claim that his mistake lies not in hitting the rock, but in attributing its water to himself rather than solely to God. But the 12th century Spanish commentator Maimonides offers a response that is different from the others, one that I find extremely compelling. He says that it isn't Moses' actions that lead to God's punishment. It isn't exactly what he says or what he does, but his anger. The Israelites are scared. They're in pain. And Moses responds by calling them morim, rebels, a title that both diminishes their plight and also invalidates their fear. Moses has become so impatient with the Israelites' complaints and so consumed by his own grief over the loss of his sister that he can no longer see what the people need from him, instead allowing his deepest anger to take over completely. Of course, we've all been there when we've said something cruel to a partner or to a child out of impatience, or belittled the pain of another person to extricate ourselves from an unwanted conversation. We've all been in situations where our fear and anger take over, and we act in ways we later find regrettable, maybe even shameful. Moses is an imperfect human being, like each one of us. And therefore, his actions, while understandable, have consequences, not just for himself and for Aaron, but also for his relationship with the people of Israel. As Maimonides writes in the Mishnah Torah, anger is an extremely bad attribute, and one should train oneself not to get too angry, even about something to which anger might be the appropriate response. For one who yields to anger, if they are wise, their wisdom deserts them. And if they are a prophet, as Moses was a prophet, their prophecy leaves them. Even after years of faithful leadership and advocacy, this one moment indicates that while Moses was the perfect person to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, he may not be the right leader to shepherd them into the promised land. But it makes me wonder, what if the story had taken a different turn? What if Moses had responded to the Israelites not out of anger, but with compassion? What if he had been honest about his own exhaustion from Korach's rebellion and agony over the loss of Miriam? What if he had shared that he too was struggling with the many years of wandering in the desert, and that he was fearful about what the future might hold? What if he had just taken a moment to be with the people in their discomfort, helping them feel seen and heard, and in turn, having his own needs met? How might that have impacted the conclusion of his story? And how might it alter our lived experiences today? One of the greatest lessons I took away from rabbinical school was the way a politically diverse community can respond to periods of heartbreak and trauma. In the weeks following October 7th and the subsequent violence in Gaza and the West Bank, groups of students from opposing ends of the Israeli-Palestinian conversation came together in prayer, in study, and in friendship. It was as if there was a tacit understanding that we were all in mourning and experiencing fear, that more could be gained from holding one another than from jockeying for political superiority. I remember someone asking me how the student body was responding to the war, what conversations were being organized, and how ideological disparities were being addressed. And I replied simply, we're just sitting with it and doing our best to show up for one another. The world outside is filled with opportunities for debate and agitation, but right now, this community needs presence and love. So that's what we're doing. American professor and best-selling author Brené Brown writes, Empathy has no script. There is no right way or wrong way to do it. It's simply listening, holding space, withholding judgment, emotionally connecting, and communicating that incredibly healing message of, you are not alone. In a time of extreme suffering, where wars hit close to home and political peacocking threatens our future, it is always tempting to respond with pure emotion, to argue and fight, to defend and deflect, to march and to post. And there is a time for all of that. But I also wonder what we might gain from leaving space for empathy, for compassion, how we might come together as a community and acknowledge the ways we are all hurting, all mourning, to create space, to sit together in our shared discomfort and allow that experience to help nurture what our community truly needs: openness, clarity, and maybe collective healing. Shabbat Shalom. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. We begin to conclude our Shabbat service on page 586 with Aleinu. I invite you to rise in all the ways you are able.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר בחיי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ,
Please be seated. Wow, right? So I just want to point out some of the people who are here that you should make sure to thank when you're in the ONEG, because some of the people from Rabbi Antman's search committee are actually here tonight. So Nia Crosley is here this evening, so you can thank her. And you can also thank Mark Kaufman, who's over here. There are some other people who are scattered about, but I made eye contact with both of them earlier. They didn't realize that when they saw the twinkle in my eye, it was because I wanted to point them out in services, and for a very public thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. Wow. Here are the parents here. If you really want to know who to thank at the ONEG, I mean, amazing. Mazel tov, and thank you, and thank you. We will cherish and nurture this amazing spirit who already is such a great leader in our community. So thank you, and we make that promise to you, and we will make sure to make good on that promise. I also want to say to the Bellick family, Mazel tov. We are so excited to celebrate with your entire family. Sarah and Jordan, Mazel tov, and we are so grateful that you've found each other. And I also want to say that if you were wondering, yes, the Katzman twins are here this evening. So the Maurer twins. I like to think of them as the Katzman twins. But Cantor Katzman's sons are here, 2 of the sons. Another one is a little busy right now being a new father. But it is amazing to see you, Alec and Zach. It's really wonderful to see you. Make sure to find them at the ONEG if they haven't already gone out to dinner with their mom before then. I just also want to say that volunteers are still needed for 2 very special Temple Sholem programs. One is for our weekly Monday meal. If you are available to volunteer with us around 4:30 on Monday evenings to help get ready for our guests who come in who are hungry and lonely and in need of a great meal in a place of deep respect, and also in an atmosphere of warmth. Not this kind of warmth, as I see poor Rabbi Antman in that very big talit just fanning himself. By the way, we'd like to see you even closer. We put these fans here so you'd want to come closer to the bima next week. In all seriousness, we are working on this. We have a building that is you know, it needs a little extra love, and so we're trying to give it the love that it needs, and we're also giving it the patience that it needs, but in the meantime, also the fans that we need. So if you're available, in that area, it is completely air conditioned. So you'll be able to help to welcome in our guests for the Monday meal. 4:30 is when our volunteers start to gather. The ones that we need most are the people to be able to serve the meal, to serve on the line, and make sure that our guests have a 4-course sit-down homemade meal served with love from people from Temple Sholem. If you're available to do that, please sign up. You can also find a very special person in the ONEG, Miriam. Miriam, would you just stand up for a second? So this is Miriam Byrne, who is our incredible social Sholem Justice Associate, and we're so grateful that hopefully people will be finding you, and then you'll let them know exactly how to sign up or help them sign up this evening so that we'll have more volunteers for that. We also, on the 2nd and 5th Sundays of every month, have a Feed the Hungry program where we make meals for a church on the west side. So to find out more about how you can volunteer and help with that, you can find Miriam for that as well. And with that, I will invite us to turn to page 598 and welcome back Rabbi Antman onto the bima.
At this point in our service, our hearts and minds turn to those who have departed our world just recently in the last 30 days, known traditionally as Shloshim. We're thinking about these individuals and their families: Justine Wexner, Esther Jacobson, Joyce Kagan Charmutz, Eli Moshe Ben Simi and Sarah, Joyce Wagner, Roy Ram, Elaine Diamond, and we want to let this community know about the passing of Gail Feinstein, mother of Heidi Cooper, our beloved director of early childhood education, and the passing of Bertram Miner, Bert Miner, father of Greg Miner, grandfather of Ricky and Jake Miner, who passed away just yesterday and who will be laid to rest this coming Sunday. Our hearts also turn to those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose death, resides this week. Catherine Basso, Paul Bell, David Berkson, Columbus Chambers Jr., Jeremy Cohen, Ida Plax Ebner, Mel Frankel, Levi Galperin, Mildred Giddens, Paul Goldman, Alvin Golub, Louis Crawlgood, Bessie Heyman, Carol Hockman, Merle Horowitz, Melvin Hyman, Sarah Josie, Kenneth Kaplan, Gilbert Katz, Shirley Kurze, Jeffrey Levins, Simon Levin, Marvin Levine, Jack Lewis, Dr. Jack Markow, Ann Ford McMillan, Daniel Mendelson, Brian Price, Sylvia Zive Pulver, Morris Rosenson, Yuzia Serrata, Morris Smith, Sandra Sterling, Marion Levinstone, Frank Tupler, Morden Wax, Debbie Weinstock, Abraham Welch, James Welsh, Henry Waters, Gerald Zeidman, Lowell Zemnick. Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, is on page 598. I invite you to rise in all the ways you are able and join with us. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam umei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brichu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran ve'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen.
Oseh shalom, shalom, shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimru amen.
We'll conclude our service. You may be seated on page 647 with Ozi V'Zimrat Yah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
What did you do?
What did I do?
Just says Andy and Mitchell.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom.
Famous.
Hello.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Very good.
You're
Phyllis, Mazel
There's
Tov,
Arthur.
Phyllis. Be well. Phyllis in Florida, Mazel Tov. For your
Shabbat Shalom.
simcha. Bella, be well.
Off yet.
Thank you. You too.
I